Today, we're gonna rank the songs from Season 1 of Hazbin Hotel. That's the proper Season 1 from Amazon, not including songs from the pilot, which are kind of their own thing in my opinion. My name is Impcut, welcome back to Random Universe. This is the side channel for Cartoon Universe, so subscribe here if you haven't yet, and go check out the video we made over there where Impcut is hanging from a cliff. Link in the pinned comment down below. Now, if you haven't seen my Hell of a Boss song or episode rankings here on Random Universe, you should know that I mentioned there that I'm not a big music person. Don't get me wrong, I listen to music all day and every day, but it's the same few songs over and over again, often hour-long loops of them. I'm that guy. Most of the music I like does come from cartoons like Hazbin Hotel or other media, but I'm not big on musicals or music as a whole. I can watch musicals, there's a few I enjoy quite a bit even, and I can get into the music, but I'm less likely than the average person, I think, to want to see a new musical or to enjoy its music more than the actual story outside of a few of its big songs. Anyways, I explained that in my episode ranking as a reason why I wouldn't do a song ranking, but that made people curious about my song ranking, so I did one for Hell of a Boss anyways, and I'm doing one now for Hazbin Hotel. But what I'm trying to explain here, I guess, is that I'm not claiming to have good taste. So songs I don't like aren't a criticism against that song or people who really love it. It's more so that I understand their function within the larger musical structure, but don't really find myself just dancing or singing along when those songs come on. So try not to take my opinions here too seriously, and think of it more so as insight into the mind of a musically illiterate person. Now, to start the lowest tier on this list, songs titled I Skip, we have It Starts With Sorry. This is a song I absolutely do not get any enjoyment from on any level. I honestly don't think I have ever even seen the scene where the song plays from start to finish, even though I do love the scene afterwards with Alistair. I just never sat through the entire song without fast forwarding through some part of it. I honestly thought that when this scene happened, that Serpentius would end the season betraying the hotel by helping the 3Vs again, and that Charlie was singing all of this in vain, but apparently I was super wrong. Next in this category is Out for Love, which I have virtually nothing to say about. It mostly involves the singing of Carmilla and Vaggie, but I actually find it much better when Vaggie and Carmilla sing in Whatever It Takes, which will be coming out very soon. Next up is More Than Anything and its reprise. Charlie and Lucifer's duet here is heartwarming in theory, but I don't vibe with the song. What I love most about this scene is actually just the flashbacks to Charlie as a child, where she sees Lucifer working on some sort of illusion involving a duck turning into a six-winged seraph phoenix. I probably would have liked this more in Season 2 with a little more time, as it just didn't feel like Lucifer and Charlie had enough on-screen development for them making up to really hit hard. This song may rely on that kind of emotional context for a lot of people, and I just wasn't feeling it. Next up in the category I Won't Listen, we have Whatever It Takes. Carmilla is a fan favorite character, but I actually have a hard time with her as a whole, and when she does sing, I tend to enjoy her song more so for whoever she is singing with, such as with this song where Vaggie jumps in to sing with her for some reason. It never really made sense to me, but I did like Vaggie singing in it. I try not to skip this song because of plot details, but when it comes to the actual music of it, I tend to just not listen very well. The same can be said for the song Welcome to Heaven. This is the Hazbin equivalent of Wicked's One Short Day in the Emerald City, which is one of the many songs I love from that musical, as it's one of the rare entries in the genre that I think is pretty catchy from front to back. However, Welcome to Heaven just wasn't catchy to me, which is a shame because it was kind of the heavenly equivalent to A Happy Day in Hell, which has a bit of a fun vibe to it. But for me, I just don't really listen when it comes on and find myself paying more attention to the angels in the background. The next tier up is Has Its Moments, the first song on which is Respectless. This is another Carmilla song, and again, I find myself enjoying it more so when someone else is singing, in this case Velvet. It was a great introductory song for her in my opinion, and really showcased the vibe of the 3Vs as a whole. And then, next up is Happy Day in Hell, which, as I said, is a more fun version of Welcome to Heaven, and does a great job as the first musical number in the series proper. From here, however, we are getting into songs that you could say I actually like to some degree, as opposed to just appreciate moments of. This starts with the tier, It's Just Fun, because the songs are worth listening to because of how amusing they are at the very least. The first song in this tier is Hell's Greatest Dad, which really captures the entire essence of its episode in my opinion, with it being a sort of epic rap battle between Lucifer and Alistair as they compete for Charlie's affection. I honestly couldn't sing any of the song back to you if I tried. I don't remember lyrics or the beat. It's just a really fun sequence that does a lot to build not just Lucifer and Alistair as characters, but Charlie as well. Next up is Hell is Forever, which is just a fun idea all around. Adam is introduced as a pretty crude villain right before this song, which allows him to really just be the rock star of evil when the music starts playing. And this was probably the best song they could have used for the end of episode 1. It did feel like a climax to a setup, while also giving us a sort of party atmosphere for this apocalyptic war in hell going forward. Next is the good tier, where we have the finale song. This song wasn't super catchy as a whole to me, but it had so many little moments for each of the characters that it's hard not to enjoy, especially when we got to Alistair's portion, which really showed him reaching his limits. Finally, the first real entry I would say in terms of a good song that I like for the music itself is Loser Baby. This song won a lot of people over, with it being a great tune for just about anyone who has ever felt like they were in a bad situation. Loser Baby was clearly one of the big musical ideas that Vizzy-Pop had in her mind for these characters from the get-go, and with the little dance in front of the Loser Baby sign, it really feels like an old school musical moment that you can just get lost in, with the follow-up of demons coming out and yelling about how Husk and Angel are just singing instead of running away being absolutely hilarious. The next tier up, these are great songs, and no surprise, the first entry here is Stayed Gone. I would say this was the first song in the show to really capture me, blending the cinematic and musical and animated all together. It felt like this song was what the show was made for, and set up the very promising thread to be explored in later seasons of Alistair and his conflict with the 3 Vs. I can't think of a more haunting moment in the entire series so far than the part where Alistair starts singing about how Vox is going to wish that he stayed gone, with Alistair becoming this very scary version of himself. While I talk about how hard it is for me to enjoy the musical format, Stayed Gone is proof that you can pack so much story into the musical format, making Alistair feel like he had an entire episode about him and Vox with really just a few short catchy minutes of them singing together. Next up, the Courtroom song, or You Didn't Know. This is a song that doesn't have a theme or vibe to it the way that a lot of the songs do. Stayed Gone, as I said, was kind of a rap battle. A Happy Day in Hell is a big opening musical number, but this song is more akin to the musical numbers in stage productions that are mostly used to advance multiple plots at the same time. They can jump from being one type of a song to another, feature a lot of references to the other styles each character is known for singing in particular, and can be very hard to categorize as a whole. Oftentimes, these songs are just great bops though, and this one is no different. While I don't generally like when a song is used to advance certain story moments at a rapid pace, you simply cannot argue when it's done well and are clicking rewind to hear certain parts again and again because of how great they sound in the song. The part where Charlie and Emily take their stand together and start singing about the hypocrisy of heaven came moments after the casual drop that Adam had been exterminating the friends and family of the angels who ended up in hell, but it still felt incredible to see and hear, almost as if Charlie and Emily had been talking about this for the entire season. The next tier is On My Playlist, songs that I actively listen to at least every week. First is Poison. Now, Poison is a very clear parallel to the Addict music video that came out before the show, which is one of my favorite songs in general. Poison does not scratch the same itch for me and isn't nearly as entertaining overall, but it's such a good song and music video sequence in general. It's a parallel to Addict, like I said, but it doesn't feel like a knockoff of Addict or something I even need to compare it to. Both do incredible jobs of portraying the horror of Angel situation, Poison even going to some more extreme places, and is quite literally the second best song to me within Season 1. I just love Addict more and have been listening to it for years at this point. Before we get into my absolute favorite song, I want to give a special mention for Mimsy's musical number where she jumps in during Alistair and Lucifer's song. I was really curious about this character's role in the show because of the early lore about her having once been planned as Alistair's love interest before they changed the direction of the story and his character when transitioning from comics to their own little series. Her whole bit is just one big joke about how certain fans have been waiting a long time to see her, and she just barges in right in the middle of Lucifer's big musical number. Finally, my absolute favorite song was Ready for This, the song Charlie sings with the cannibal demons that she is leading into battle in episode 7, right before the big finale. The song did a great job of highlighting the irony of her situation, how she so badly wants to unite Hell to stand up against their extermination, but the only way to get anyone to even try is to appeal to their sinful nature, to offer some of the darkest demons the flesh of their dead victims if they fight in the war. It's something Charlie acknowledges as weird, but at the end of the day, what matters is making her stand. She knows that the cannibals are doing this for the wrong reasons, but like Serpentius or Angel, she believes this can still be weaponized for their own good as long as she directs them towards the real enemy. It's so charming to see her coming into her own and embracing the idea of being a real leader to people who don't necessarily want her to lead, not just being the daughter of the leader of Hell with her little pet projects that people mock on TV as seen in the pilot. It was the best song to put on right before that big finale, the perfect setup to the triumphant finish of the season, which was marked more so by its epic battle and less so by a big musical number. But what do you guys think? And do you think having bad taste in music is a sin? Let me know your theories about whether or not my ranking would send me to hell in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys there.